picked Where You Been, which is trying to think. That's maybe I think one, two, three, four. That's like maybe their fifth album in their discography. Um, they were sort of already pretty established at this point. And I picked this one because A, it just seems to be the Dinosaur Jr. album I gravitate towards the most. Um, I'd say I either gravitate towards the really early stuff like Bug or You're Growing All Over Me. Later stuff like Cloud. It's Cloud again, terrible with names, but like essentially like they matured a lot in their later career and sort of softened up a bit. And the early career, like towards the beginning albums, they had that sort of like harsh sort of wall of sound, which was really, really cool. Just sort of, not necessarily grunge, not necessarily punk, just sort of almost sort of shoegazy at certain points with just how much, they're just sort of like layering sounds in the background. And the reason I like Where You've Been so much is that it sort of strikes that perfect balance of just being a wall of sound and also being very harmonic and just very like very memorable songwriting. Like the songs are very like they stick out to me. This is probably the one that I listen to from beginning to end the most. Just because I think, I really like the way this album flows. Trying to think what else. I mean, Jay Mascis, still absolutely killing it with his, just a very unique, sort of guitar sort of technique where he absolutely rips with the solos, but just has that very sort of subdued, sort of sound in the backgrounds as well, where he just sort of knows exactly what to play and exactly when. He's not the kind to just really showboat too much. He just sort of plays exactly what's needed for the song. Don't really know the rest of his band's names, but I mean, it's just a really solid album. Everyone's doing exactly what they should be doing. Yeah, I don't know if I got more to say than that. It's just one of my favorite Dinosaur Jr. albums. Just really well produced, really awesome sound they were going for, and sort of feels like the perfect bridge between like the beginning of their career and like sort of their later albums. So yeah, I mean that's sort of where my thoughts are on this one.
I just looked up the band members, and the drummer's name is Murph.
Awesome. Murph.
Cool.
Jay Mascis, Murph.
Dude, I fucking love this album. Oh my god,
It's
this is awesome. I knew about this album, but like Start Chompin'. I've always known that song. That song is like could be my favorite Dinosaur Jr. song. It's awesome. But like I've always like in high school and like college, I would listen to Bug a lot. Big Bug fan. That's like the early stuff. I don't know if that's like their first album, but it's like one of their first albums, the second album.
It's actually, I think it's their second. They've got one that's just called Dinosaur Jr., and then I think Bug is their second album.
Yeah, and that album is like much more. It makes it like it sounds like an earlier album. It's a little more raw and very. I guess it's an '80s album, like late '80s, right?
Yeah,
it sounds like it's a '90s album, like in the grunge. It's hard to say it's a grunge album or like to lump that into that, but I don't know what else you say. But anyway, always love Bug. And Growing All Over Me, that's the one that everyone talks about. I don't think it's as good as Bug or this album. I don't know. I never really gravitated to Growing All Over Me, but this is Where You Been, man. I think it's a step up production wise. You can tell like it's a little more grand. They add like the drums. I don't know what you call them, but like it sounds bigger. I don't know. I think it's awesome. Like some of my favorite tracks. Like there's that really track 5. It's a little slower and it's really like emotional and like it kind of reminded me of like a Disarm by the Smashing Pumpkins. I forget what the song's called. I don't know if you guys.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that song is sweet. Like a great, you go from like Start Chomping like this awesome rock, upbeat thing to like something like that. Is perfect. Like that kind of balance the album. Big fan of that. So loving this one, man. Good pick.
Yeah, I really like this album too. Dinosaur Jr. is just so great. You were the Jay Mascis's guitar playing is awesome. It just has a great energy to it, and at the same time, like you've kind of I get that like 90s nostalgia feeling through this album too. It kind of hits that button too, which I always really like. Like the songs are just like straightforward and they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, the it's interesting that you have this like wall of sound kind of thing because they just rock so hard and it like comes at you. But this album does a good job of kind of changing tones and has those softer songs, which kind of helps listen through all the way through. Because that's my kind of my critique about Dinosaur Jr. is that when I listen to a lot of them, they all kind of the songs kind of start to blend together because there's all these epic guitar solos and the jams, and they kind of like they kind of it can get a little tiring towards I always feel a little tired after listening to a Dinosaur Jr. album. But this album does a really good job of kind of hitting different notes here and going for different motions. So yeah, I really like it. Start Choppin' is just an awesome rock song. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite Dinosaur Jr. songs as well. I really like Going Home too. That was a good one. Yeah, just a great album to play while the sun is out, maybe while you're driving, windows down, good stuff. Yeah, it's a classic. I haven't listened to all Dinosaur Jr.'s albums, so I'm excited to listen to some more. I've listened to a few, but I've heard this one before and I really like it. Good starting point if you were to get into them, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it definitely comes back to me if you want to like look up the rest of her discography, but this one really is definitely my favorite. It's the one I just keep coming back to. But Tim?
This is going to be controversial.
Ooh.
I've always been like, why don't I like Dino Jr.? I love Pavement. I love Built to Spill. I love a lot of 90s like indie rock.
Is it his voice?
It's his voice. He sounds like a frog.
I get that. That's fair.
And it's like they're such talented musicians. The solos are incredible. I love the songwriting. Not the same. The fifth track you were talking about is sort of like a dark ballad, and he doesn't sound like a frog, and it's great. He's got a beautiful voice. But the rest of the songs, he just kind of creaks and croaks, and I hate it. I wish I could like this band.
You've been.
Fair enough. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's kind of croaky.
I did listening to this album for this podcast has made me realize that I hate Jay Mascis's voice, and I wish I didn't. But beyond that, I think this is a great album. If I can get over the voice, if I can get over the frog voice, I think it's really, really excellent. I think On the Way, like that song is fast and hard, and he doesn't croak a whole lot on that one. That's my favorite
great
one.
Solos on that one too. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I think this album has some of the best solos of the decade, honestly. But yeah, I just like it's hard for me to listen to Dino Jr. because I just don't like his voice.
That's fair.
You've always been very lyrical, so it doesn't surprise me that like you sort of zero in on Jay Mascis a bit,
I mean,
like
the album I chose is in Icelandic. I don't know what the hell anyone's saying in that album.
Oh, I know.
Fair. Oh, you know what I want to say before we go though? There's a bonus track. So I had a bonus thing. I didn't listen to all the songs, but there's a bonus track called Hot Burrito Number 2, which is a Flying Burrito Brothers cover song. Just like from the album that I picked the other month. So go check that out. It's pretty sick. That's all I gotta say. Hot Burrito Number 2.
Cool.
Real quick, I wanna go back and mention for Dinosaur Jr. Remember when Loren dressed up as Jay Mascis for Halloween one year?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. One of the best costumes I've ever seen.
It was
Thank you.
I thought it was so funny.
It was so spot on.
I loved absolutely no one having any idea who I was.
I know, it's like no one at this party knows who Jay Mascis
is. Hey, are you the dude from the Big Lebowski? Are you the dude?
What, did you just wear a white wig?
Yeah, like, but he looks
How do I put it in
like
the
Jay
chat real
Adams.
quick?
Like, think about it. Like,
You killed it though. It looks spot on.
his spot
Tim,
was
how
like
would
the
I put
trucker
this in the
hat.
chat if I wanted
I
to?
think I've seen. I think you showed me a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
You were
It
wearing
was a
glasses.
white
You had a
wig,
white
and then
wig.
my beard was about this length, and I put
Uh,
this like this gray dye over the beard.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like
So-
speckled with gray. I took these glasses that were sunglasses, just like the wackiest frames I had, took out the lenses and just sort of wore those and just wore like the skateriest clothing I had. And everyone's like, "Yeah, are you the Big Lebowski dude?" Dude. It's a cool cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, so final thoughts. Really love this album. Definitely the perfect starting point for Dinosaur Jr. if you just sort of want to see where the earlier stuff and where the later stuff are coming from. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this one a solid 9.5. I mean, it's, you know, it really, really just sort of pivotal album in their discography, and just one that I just keep coming back to over and over again.